Hi guys, how you going? It's Campbell here from Autodidactic channel, and as always, autodidactic means to be self-educated, and guys, you want to be self-educated because believe me, you do not want to be learning what the system is trying to teach you. Okay, so today's video is just on Melbourne and just a few buildings that I found that are just, I just want to touch on, just basically out of place architecture, buildings that really for the time period they were built, there's no explanation as to who built them, why they were built, or how they were built. So stay tuned and we'll have a look, guys.
Open up your mind and let me step inside.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Alright, I just wanted to show you this. Melbourne, the city in Victoria that we're looking at, Melbourne, Australia, was founded in 1835. It was then a British colony. So 1835, it was incorporated as a crown settlement in 1837. So I mean, this is just when it was founded, guys. It literally, they're telling us this is, founded, right? Found. But they're telling us that the official narrative is that before 1835 there was nothing there, just bushland. And yeah, that word founded just means found. They found it. Okay, so here's some of the things that they found. This is the Australian building, or known as the APA building. It was at 49 Elizabeth Street, northwest corner of Elizabeth Street and Flinders Lane. Now have a look at this building. A few things I want to point out about this building, apart from the amazing architecture and symmetry. Just on all these buildings, guys, take note of the symmetry. It's always just perfect. Even as you can see that this front bit here, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows that are all completely symmetrical is sort of raised out, and it keeps continuing up into the corner here where you can see this triangle goes up. Okay, it doesn't mean it's Illuminati, guys, but you can see it almost does look like there's a detached capstone there, but this is some of the architecture that we had. You can see the spires here, and of course along the top this railing that we see, this fencing, see it on the tops of all the old buildings. So this is something to do with Antiquitech. There's some more sort of antenna things here. But one thing to look at is it looks like, these floors, they've all been built slightly differently. So do they have a different purpose? At the bottom we've got the arches here. And they are significantly bigger than these people. You can see that the people are here. So this door is, 2.5, maybe 3 times as tall as these people. Fairly big building. And notice the building next door, the levels on it, they're different. Excuse me. The first level finishes here, second one's here, so, but anyway, we have this first level, and this level on top of it looks, in the same vein pretty much. Then we have this this sort of line that goes around, and then we have different architecture. Now notice the windows now are different. They're cut into 2 where these are not. Okay, and we start to get these triangles, these portico things above windows and up the top here, which we don't have down here. Okay, and again, it looks like there's another divider here. And then the architecture changes again slightly. So now the windows are the same, but now we have this sort of white and these inlays, this white bit with these inlays in between the windows, which is different to how it was done down here. And then we have this row, another separation, and these things, guys, we see them everywhere. I don't know what they are, but you see them everywhere under eaves and on buildings. Yeah, just these little things, whatever they are. But above that again, the architecture changes again. Okay, we're now back to windows. Well, they're not even cut by the looks of it. Just 4 windows and building up to the peak, and we've got all the Antiquitech up here. So it looks like there's, 1, 2, 3, at least sort of 4 different types of architecture. Now, some people have been surmising that this means that this is different, societies or cultures or whatever, just building on top of each other. I don't think that's true. I think that would be very hard to do, to get the building to stand up if you were just coming along and just building on top of each other willy-nilly. I think this is something to do with Antiquitech. I think these are different levels. This could, I don't know, but this thing up the top, this is all the Antiquitech about drawing in energy from the atmosphere, the free energy. Got all the antennas. Come down here and we've got this line. So, we've got these bars here. So, what are these? Are these capacitors or something? I mean, I think that's the whole building somehow, because these are all different stones, I would think. Different types of clays, different types of stones. And then we have the arches at the bottom. The arches are obviously have got something to do with it too, but I think this has been built this way because it's some kind of Antiquitech machine, basically. I mean, it may not have even been built for humans or for people to inhabit. It might have just been that way so you could get in if you needed to fix it. But anyway, this building was completed in 1889, okay, so Melbourne was first founded in 1835. So guys, what's that? That's 50, it's like 64 years or something after the first person sort of landed there. They're building stuff like this, they're telling us. And look at the rest of the city, by the way. It's completely built out. Tallest building in Melbourne from 1889 to 1929. And of course, it's demolished. They knocked it over, guys, in 1980. Pretty sad. Look at that thing. There it is again, and as you can see, they just basically left it to fall into disrepair. You can see even here it looks like it's been abandoned. All the windows look bad. And then we get this photo. Now this photo that they're trying to say it's here, but look at the side here. Like, what happened to all the facade? Because as you can see, it's all sort of fully covered on all sides. But down here it just shows this is just brick. So I have no idea what's going on there. They covered stuff up, but you can also see they've ripped all the stuff. We're starting to rip the stuff off the roof, and we come down here, and this is how it looked in the end. They completely ripped all the Antiquitech off the roof in the 1950s, and then they bolted over. Hiding history. This is the Federal Coffee Palace Hotel in Melbourne. It was in Melbourne. Look at this. This is obviously a mud flutter, as you can see there, but look at this building. Again, we've got these metal balustrade fencing things up here, the Antiquitech, we've got the antennas, we've got the dome, the spire's been taken off. But look at this. I mean, look at the architecture, and again we have this same theme. We have this bottom floor, well, obviously not the bottom floor, but the bottom floor we can see, built in a certain style, squarish windows, or rectangle windows. But above it we have the arched windows, and as you can see, this is different brickwork. We now get these lines that we see, this whatever you want to call it, this sort of indented lined facade that we see everywhere, and that goes around then, and we've got arches, and we come above that and it changes again. We now go into the Greco-Roman. We've got pillars, we've got these triangle portico things. Back to the rectangle windows, some arches along here, nice portico there. So back to the triangles, and then above it changes again. And these top windows are arched, these are rectangle. Okay, got these, got some pillars here and here, but now we get these sort of expanded, sort of turrety type things. And then we get to the top and we've got this full Antiquitech roof. I mean, look at that. Now this again, completed in 1890. Okay, so this is, what's that, 55 years after Melbourne was founded, they were building this. I mean, come on, guys. Found this interesting. There is an extensive basement under the whole structure comprising large kitchen, scullery, bakehouse, and oven, cutting up rooms, ice house, engine and boiler rooms, and extensive cellarage. The ground floor is on level with the pavement at Collins Street entrance. That will be this level. But as you can see, there's extensive area in the basement. So, I mean, that could mean 1 or 2 levels below here, guys. So they're telling you right there that, well, we know there's a story under there, but there's probably another one as well. As you can see here, the first floor is entered by a grand staircase that treads the staircase of white marble with rises of red marble, all polished, strings and handrails of richly moulded keen cement with balustrades of red marble between ornamental bronze panels. So just reading that, guys, we've got bronze, we've got, the cement, which would be a non-conductive material. Bronze is conductive and marble is conductive as the silica. It's got a silica base. Is this some kind of machine? I think the whole thing, these buildings are machines, and whether we're supposed to be using them or living in them or whatever, though it looks to be they were designed that everything inside them was just it was just a machine, but they made it so you could use it and live in it and get that energy for free. Here's another picture of the coffee house. Because this is how you build coffee houses, right? The Federal Coffee Palace Hotel. This is it in the 50s, I believe, yeah, 1950s. As you can see, all the copper's turning green. It's been neglected. We've had, a lot of the Antiquitech taken down, all the fencing and stuff, it's all gone until they bowled it over. But look at what it was. And we're told that now this is not the same building. This is at the old GPO. They've just called it the same name. But yeah, this is what the people in power destroy, guys. Federal Coffee Palace Hotel. I just wanted to have a look at this too. This is the inside view of it when it was still standing. And the more I look at this stuff, guys, the more it looks like machinery, also of some kind. Not mechanical machinery, but I mean, look at how perfect and equidistant these blocks, whatever they are, coming out of this arch are. They're perfect. Everything is perfectly symmetrical. These pillars go straight down through to the ground. This lines up perfectly, the bottom of this arch with this pillar. As you can see, it looks like, so it goes across to this pillar, like is that a transference or a split of energy somehow? And this is all perfect. It just looks like a machine. The more you look at this stuff, guys, I mean, with these sort of eyes of that this is all old world tech and could have been connected to free energy, it just looks like it's more than architecture. Could just be me, who knows? But again, the portico windows we see over these port windows. I mean, just look at that architecture. I mean, this is Melbourne, Australia, guys, built in 1890. Look at just this level here, you could take out and put in Rome somewhere. It's just amazing. All right, from grand to bland, the Colonial Mutual Life building, of course, now it's demolished. Okay, it was built between 1893 and 94, so 1 year to build this, guys, 1 year only. On the other buildings, they just have a date that it was built. You cannot find any, you really can't find any information at all on how these buildings were built, how long they took to build, who built them, how many people. You can't find plans, you can't find where the materials came from. You cannot find anything. They just give you a number, just like this one, 1893 to 94. Okay, that's what we had built in 1 year. Look at this massive doorway. And this is what it was replaced with, guys, in the 60s. And this is what happens. Look at that amazing architecture replaced with this piece of crap. Okay, this is, the gateway. So this was the inside. Obviously, look at the workmanship. It's all just carved wood, ornate stone. Marbles, granites. Obviously, they've refurbed it with their horrible 60s style, but yeah, this is what they do, guys. They're destroying our buildings, our heritage, and replacing them with this crap. This is shit. Look at that. Not that we built it, but it doesn't mean we have to knock it down. Just a few more photos here. This is the Menzies Hotel. These are all from Melbourne. Again, Antiquitech spires, little fencing things everywhere, symmetry. This is the building we just looked at, which was an Equitable Life Assurance building. This is the APA Tower again, nice old tower, and they've just put all this retro, branding on it. You can see how tall it was. These are all big buildings, guys, all built in the 1890s in Melbourne. This picture's from 1937, torn down in 1960. Oh, this one was built, but this one look built 1929, torn down in 1969. They left it for 40 years and then tore it down, and then replaced it with more crap like this. More constructed 1892 to 1896, torn down 1960. This is one we just looked at, Equitable Life Insurance building. Look at the size of this thing. Look, compared to these are two-story shops, and not the first story is higher than the roofs, than their two-story roofs. Here it is again, plate of crap. The Australian building, again, massive Antiquitech spires all at the top. We've got, again, this architecture that's sort of separated down into different styles. 1889, 12 stories, torn down 1981, replaced with this kind of crap. Okay, this is what happens. Lister House, don't know what that is. Torn down, replaced with crap. I mean, like it always is. The Queen Victoria Hospital, torn down this one, 1910 to 1916, torn down in the 1990s, red brick structure. Look at this, look at the domes on it. And that's, look at the front facade on this, all torn down, guys. All torn down, look at this. Again, they love to do this, put their little shops underneath these grand buildings. Eastern Market, tore it down, made it into a car park. And this is what happens. 1888, used as a bank, torn down 1940. Look at the size again, look at the size of the doorways on this. This is a giant building. And this is another thing I see a lot of. We seem to have giant buildings, buildings built for giants next to buildings built for not giants. And again, the Menzies Hotel. So this is all that's happening, guys. Got these amazing buildings, this amazing architecture, built 1888 to 1890, all built, like all these buildings are built within 60 years of Melbourne being founded, so they're doing pretty well. Torn down 1973, replaced by this piece of crap. Another one, Cromwell building. And look at the symmetry, look at that, rectangle windows, arch windows, rectangle, arch, rectangle, arch. I mean, double arches, double rectangle. I mean, look at this, it's just perfect symmetry everywhere. Amazing stuff, replaced with this kind of crap. Built in the late 1880s, torn down 1973. Carlton Brewers, look at all this art, this work, and now look at this building. Look at the size of this build, finished 1889. So, I mean, all these buildings, guys, are in Melbourne. And look at the size of them. And they're telling you all these buildings we just looked at were all built within a 10-year period in Melbourne. You know, no construction pictures, no, um, what am I looking for the word? You know, no designs, no architectural designs, nothing. They don't tell us where the labour came from, where the materials came from, and they just tear them down and replace them with crap. Again, torn down, you know, this is what goes on, all torn down. Okay, so I just wanted to show that, guys, some of the amazing architecture. This is just from one city, Melbourne in Australia, and this was all built within a 10-year period and then all torn down, you know, within what, 60, 70 years, so all gone. And this is what goes on. So, yeah, this is what's happening, guys. They're taking over, they're destroying all the old world architecture, this amazing stuff, and replacing it with crap. All right, hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Um, if you did like it, please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, and share my content if you like it. And as always, guys, be autodidactic because self-education is the way forward. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Bye for now.